This video will be going over our color code map tool, which is also known as boundaries up at the top. It's in our color coding section, and you'll notice it's got a green, yellow, and blue icon. This tool is very similar to a heat map. A lot of people refer to it as an alternate version of a heat map. We went over a heat map in a previous video, and that's kind of like a color cloud where you can change your points and to make those look like just clouds on the map. And those look nice for a PowerPoint. This boundaries tool is really useful if you wanted to see, changes across the nation. If you wanted to see demographic information across, zip code, county, state, or territory layer, then you can use this tool. So that's what we're going to do in this example. Is we're going to take a look at the change in median household income across the nation. So when you click on that tool, it'll ask you which geographic layer you're looking to use. And in this case, I'm going to use the zip 5 codes. And on the next screen, it'll ask, where do you want to pull this data that you're going to be color coding the nation by? I'm going to be choosing demographic data, and you can use all sorts of different types of demographic data that's embedded in the program. You could use population, median household income, you could use households, all sorts of good information here. So I'm going to choose median household income, and you get to change the number, you get to set the number of ranges that you have. At the bottom, you can choose your color scheme. You can use one of these ones, it's just a variation of one color, or you can choose to just create your own colors. In this case, for the higher totals, I like to use something that's bold, like a pink, and maybe something darker for lower income. And then you can just choose whatever you want in the middle. If you're color coding and there are sections of the nation that just don't have any value, you can click to hide any location that does not include a value. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click done. And I'm going to change in median household income across the United States. So this is a good way for a franchisee, maybe a franchise company, to get an idea of places that you want to center your businesses around, what types of areas you'd like to go. And if we zoom in the area here, we can see we have a lot of pink here. So with my legend that now appears, I can see that the default is 58,000 to 225, and maybe I want to tweak that a little bit. Maybe there's too much pink. I can go back into the boundaries and use my zip 5 codes, and I can change these values up a little bit. So let's go to 60,000 on this one, and let's go 1,000. Go back and you can tweak it and then get a better idea of those pockets. Another thing to notice is this is pretty opaque. You can't see through to the streets. But if we move our mouse cursor over the zip 5 codes layer, there's a little settings gear. And if we click on that, it pulls up Manage Map and Data. And we can click on the General tab here and make that layer more transparent. We can make it really transparent if we want to see through all the underlying roads. But I like to maybe keep it somewhere in the middle, so that we can see those highways. If we zoom in, we can start to see those minor streets. We also get an idea of where that color coding would be. We also do have labels on the right-hand side. So if you did want to, you can change these auto labels where the static number on the map. And if we go into format labels, we can have up to 5 pieces of information below that auto label. But in this case, I only want one. I'm just going to show my median household income. So I'll scroll down to that. And the prefix is where you can type in, it's almost like a label for a label. So you can type in whatever you want in that field so that when somebody's looking at the map, they're not just looking at a number, they have an idea of what that number represents. So once everything looks good, you click Change Labels and you can see that information on the map, and we can make that larger or smaller, and it'll look less cluttered once we zoom in a little bit. And so then we can see the median household income across the nation. So that's how you can use our color code map tool to pinpoint demographic information. So I'm going to uncheck my zip 5 codes, and now we'll look at territories. I'm going to zoom back out to the nationwide level. And so I have these 3 created territories. I have East, Midwest, and then I have West and Mountains here. And I can color code each of these territories by demographic information, or I could use an imported data set. What I have here is a list of breweries across the US and Canada, and what I have is some made up sales information for each of these. So if I just hover my mouse over it, I can see what I put in there for a sales figure. And so what we can do with this information is we can use our color code tool, and we can color code that territories layer based on information from that imported spreadsheet. So whereas before I chose demographic data, this time I'm going to use information from my breweries, and I'm going to go down to my sales total. We could set whatever range we want, but these are actually unique values. So I could either check this box to show unique values, or I could just uncheck it and just leave it as 3 because I know that there are 3 territories and they're going to have their equal total. So I'm going to just go ahead and click unique values, and then let's make this one brighter and this one darker. So now we're color coding by those exact unique values for each of those territories, and we click done. And so now we can see which territories produce the most sales. And if my brewery data set is in the way, I can uncheck it. It's still using the information from that data set, but we don't have to look at those points in the map. So then in our legend, we get to see those totals from that imported data set. I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We're happy to help. Thanks and have a great day.